Welcome back to the next episode. Got another great guest today who's actually been on the podcast. And honestly, Brandon, you've made probably like 70% of the podcast by names. But I went back and looked today. You were episode 1. So I went back today and you're literally the first episode ever. So it's pretty cool that we're 130 some episodes in and having you back. It's been a couple of years, actually. But for all the people that don't know who Brandon Peterman is, welcome to the show, Brandon. He owns a successful company down in OKC, doing big things. Brandon and I, man, we go back, I don't even know, it's been 10 years, close to 10 years probably.
Probably.
And I think when we met, I was doing like 250,000 a rev, and you must have been pushing like 400, I'm guessing, if that's right.
Probably around 400,000 or so. It was a long time ago. It was before I knew how to do anything.
I still think we're trying to figure it out every day.
Yeah, boy, what we've learned, but I still don't think I'm all the way there either.
Yeah, it's like we talk every day, and it seems like every day we're learning something, you know. But there's a lot to chat about. You know, we'll get caught up to what you've done, what you've been doing, and then gonna do a little bit different style podcast. I went back through like my social media and some emails and got like the top 10 questions that I've been getting from everyone else. I figured, what a better place and person to ask questions about, kind of all over the map too. What not one specific area, kind of all over the place. So again, Brandon, welcome to the show. I know we talk literally every day, if not multiple times per day, but it's good to have you back on the podcast. Good seeing you too. You and your fresh haircut.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
You've been doing some big things down in OKC. It's definitely been fun to watch your journey from afar. Like it's pretty impressive, to be honest. And you go to your shop, you have a lot of people. You bring a lot of people in, show them your shop, take them around, show them the place, what you're doing. It's really, really cool. So I know the industry as a whole appreciates what you're doing.
Yeah, we just redecorated too, so a lot of people moved offices and got us more efficient. That was half of our problem is we weren't efficient the way the office was laid out. So moved everyone into better places. Actually had a construction company in and tear down some walls and build some more walls and add some more doors. So whatever it takes to get everyone efficient to where everyone can talk and see each other, it's kind of all part of it, you know.
Because you're talking about it last year. Was it last year or the year before when you got the other office on the highway? Kind of walk us through that too. Like where your mindset is at the time, what you were thinking, and then what it kind of morphed into.
Well, so we got a second location and it was 2 blocks away. We knew we needed more space for office and for trucks. So we got that second location. We moved all the office over there because it was kind of a dealership style layout. And so we put everyone over there, cleaned up the floors and everything, but it just had concrete floors and put conference tables and desks and everything in there and laid everyone out like what would work. But they didn't enjoy it over there. It just wasn't carpeted. It wasn't didn't give everyone their individual area. It was too open. So they were over there for a while. I ended up staying here. My COO ended up staying here.
Because the leadership was almost separate from the rest of the team, right?
Kind of, and it didn't work out. Like we were trying to work at both places, and it just didn't make sense. So we brought everyone back over here, and now we only use it for truck parking.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then, but you still use that obviously literally for storage for vehicles and equipment.
Yeah, so it's just a rollover. We can only fit I don't know 17 trucks or 18 trucks or something here at this location. So we have that place a block away to house the rest of our vehicles.
Yeah, and for the listeners, a truck for Brandon is like a small NPR, right, or NPR style truck. So they're not like they're small Mavericks or nothing. You got a couple of those too, but big trucks.
Yeah, so the NPRs or the Fords, we use like long bed extended cabs for this company.
Yeah, what's the square footage of that building? It's like 50,000. Was it bigger than that?
We're in, I think it's like 20,000 here and 20,000 square foot there.
Yeah, that's cool. So the thought was like, don't need to rehash it, but then it's also a major highway too. So that was kind of a thought concept right there too. You branded the whole building. The front of the windows all say uh, the company name, like everything. Have you seen results from that?
You know, I couldn't tell you. Nothing that we can that we can look at, like, for sources or whatever. I've heard in passing, "We know who you are," or people saying, "I saw your building," or whatever. I will say it gets a lot of people lost because they think that we're in that building, and so we can't, the mailman, like, has to bring our stuff over here, UPS and FedEx, they think we're over there. We have customers, like, knocking on the door over there and no one's there, like, that part's kinda funny, but, in the end, could I calculate that? Is there an ROI on that? I'm sure there is. Can I calculate it? No.
Yeah, right. Are you still glad that you did it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we needed the space. And it's something I learned a long time ago is you can watch your financials and tell you when you need more space. Um, and so that's kind of what we do. We know the percentage of where we need to buy and how big we need to buy. And then as we grow, it goes back down to that percentage and then tells us again. So I think we're probably a year and a half, 2 years away from finding another location. Either we're going to move the whole thing or we're going to get a third place to help park trucks. I'm not really sure. We're trying to figure that part out.
Yeah, we've had that conversation a lot too. Um, you have a lot of things going on at work. It's a busy season, time of the year. Walk us through like the last few years, catch us up. I think when we talked last time, I don't know how many trucks you had, probably 18 to 20, somewhere in there, I'm guessing 2 years ago.
Probably.
Yeah,
We're
maybe
at,
not quite.
I think right now, I'd be lying if I told you an exact number, but I'm guessing between 28 to 30.
We were on the phone yesterday. You're like, well, I think we have like 17 in this building. You walked inside and there's like three here. Trying to do the math.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that anymore. I just need to know. Yeah, I just need to know the financials. Like you go buy the trucks, figure it out, make sure they're all running, or make sure I have backups or whatever. And it's just not that's not my area of concern right now.
Yeah, for sure. So on a day to day, what is your major concerns at this level?
More or less the P&Ls. I watch them every day. The sales. There's about 4 spreadsheets that I stare at every day. Um, the percentages of everything I need to know, indirect labor, I need to know, or indirect payroll, I need to understand my labor, I need to understand my COGS, my material, um, more financials, but then making sure that we have growth too. So we have spreadsheets on spreadsheets of showing us what the daily growth is as well. How many jobs were sold that day, the dollar amount was sold, who sold them. So it's very orchestrated right now, and so I stare at several different sheets and make sure that I understand the health of the company.
Yeah, love it. Also, I would just say I know a lot about the company, but the daily huddles. How long have you been doing daily huddles for?
So the technicians, we're going on probably 8, 9 years on the technicians. And then we have an office huddle and then we have a leadership huddle, and that all starts today.
Yeah, let's say around the technician huddle, what that looks like every day. It's just a cool concept, and you've done it every single day. It's awesome. I mean, we started doing it because you were doing it.
Yeah, so we start ours at 7 a.m. Every day. They guys come in, they grab their snacks or their food. We have a full pantry full of foods. They come in, they grab their breakfast, their snacks, everything, eat. They fill up their ice chests full of their waters and ice and everything. They put it in their trucks. They'll start agitating their trucks, and then at 7 a.m. sharp, our huddle starts. We'll do stretches. They might do a couple push-ups or squats or something too. And then it goes around to certain key people in the group of like, here's what happened yesterday, today, and tomorrow, or last week, this week, next week. Typical huddle cadence. And then we'll let any of our technicians talk to. So if they have anything that they want to input, about anything. It could be, I don't know, Jimmy pissed me off or whatever, something as stupid as that. They bring it up and we hash it out. But our goal is 15 minutes tops for a huddle, and then we get them off. We've now started doing um, the city turfs stand at the gate. So our management team, we
I
have
was
a
just
couple.
there 3 days ago.
I know you are. We have 3 people, stand at the gate, 2 people inside the shop, kinda helping them get out the shop and get around, and then 3 people or 2 people that stand at the gate, and they kinda walk around the trucks and talk to each driver about stuff and make sure that the truck's good, that all the hoses are intact, that we don't need any repairs or anything. Talk to them for a second and then let them roll.
That's cool. Are you guys going over like their schedule for the day too? Write that in there,
If they have any questions about it, yeah,
like notes in the schedule. Yeah.
we'll talk to them for 10, 15 seconds at their window. If they need longer than that, we'll pull them over and talk to them longer. But yeah, it's more of like equipment maintenance. Is anything broke, anything damaged, anything they're not seeing that we're not seeing? So it's kind of more along the trucks, the line of the trucks or the equipment or the product.
Are you sick of paying marketing agencies and not getting results? Well, we are hosting the #1 step-by-step class on how to attract and generate sales without paying a marketing agency or having a huge budget. Most lawn care and pest control owners get stuck at a ceiling because they're dealing with outdated systems or relying on guesswork waiting for the phones to ring. Our upcoming class this Thursday provides proven strategies to generate hundreds of leads without a huge budget. We'll show you how to build a predictable system to grow past $1 million. We show you how to automate your marketing. We'll also teach you how to delegate and build your team so you have more time. So click the link in the description below. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. This is the one thing that I wish I had learned a lot sooner. Now, let's get back to the show.
I know we're just kind of running through this like spitfire real quick because I want to get into the questions. Busy season just got over for you, crazy selling season. In your area specific, what was your #1 source codes this year?
I'm going to say it's probably lawn signs again. I haven't looked in a second, but I'm pretty sure it's just us putting lawn signs in everyone's yard. It is every year. I pretty much don't have to look.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I know you usually know that number by the back of your hand, so I can tell it's not busy season anymore because usually every day, like on the spreadsheet, tell me how many. Yeah. So yeah, and then last question before we get into the actual questions, what's the ultimate goal with the company?
With Elite Lawn Care,
Yeah.
for this one, we're going to aim for trying to get it up to 40 million as quick as I can. That's in revenue. Trying to aim for about 22, 23% EBITDA. And then we have a certain formula that we're going to try to get there with. So I don't know how many years it's going to take. I would say probably 8 to 10 years for us to get it there. So got a formula. We're going to see what we can do. But that's for Elite Lawn Care. Obviously, you know that we're looking into other companies and starting other things. So um, that's just for this one.
It's cool. All right, well, let's get into some of these questions. I'm pretty excited about this. Just a different style. I know we've done one of these before, and in fact, I think it was with you. Maybe was it with you in Brassfield? We kind of did this style before. Yeah. So this is a really good question, and I answered it on answered this question for them. But should I stay small and make good money, or try to scale fast?
My opinion is it depends on the person. You may be a great technician, and that's fine. Be a great technician. Stay a technician, answer the phone when you need to, hire an office person if you want, but be a technician, stay small, and do your own thing.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely nothing wrong. No, absolutely nothing wrong. I have a lot of friends that have they're a one man show. They're a chuck in a truck or whatever you want to call it, and they make really good money. And they just work by themselves. And I've got one that'll work 4 weeks and then take 2 weeks off and go fishing, and then come back and work 4 weeks and take 2 weeks off and go fishing. Is that going to be a retirement plan? Probably not. He's probably going to have some investments or some sort of passive income for the future. But that's not a bad spot for someone to be in. It's kind of whatever makes you happy in the end. If that's what makes you happy to be a technician and make good money, then do it. Yeah, and for me, and I think we're on the same page. We enjoy the fast growth. We want to grow. We want to see where it can get to, what it can get to, and then how quick it can get there. So um, I'm all for the fast growth, but I also don't see a problem in someone who wants to stay small, and I'll help mentor that person of getting their numbers right so they can stay small. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, and I would probably say the same thing. Like if you want a lifestyle business, you're pushing $300,000 in profit a year. Let's say you're doing 800,000, got a couple techs, and you're pumping $300,000 a year, and that's where you want to be at. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be involved. You can go anywhere you want to. You can live off $400,000. Nothing wrong with it. And you'll have a sizable company to go sell. If you want to be a solo technician, again, you're probably going to make that $80,000 to $100,000 a year while you're servicing. But just make sure you invest in that money. So when you do retire, just know that the company isn't worth a whole lot. You maybe get a little bit for it, but just not a ton. And just invest that money well so you don't have to go get another job when you're done. And then the other side of that coin too, Brandon, that I think about is if you're motivated by money, as soon as you hit that lifestyle business, you're done. In my opinion, you get that $300,000, $400,000 a year, like, oh, I don't really have to be here anymore. Like, if you're motivated by money, you're just done there. And there's nothing wrong with it. But if you have a bigger why, you want to flip the industry upside down, you want to change people's lives. And like, again, we're in an old industry, making it new again. It's fun. It's competitive. It's like a game to us. When you have a big reason why you want to go do something, is usually when you go build something big. And again, there's nothing wrong with either way, but that's just my perspective on the question.
Right. Yeah, and I don't disagree. Either way, they're both really good.
Yeah. Business is just a tool, right? It's just a tool to make money, and however you want to make the money is just either way, it's fine. But I see it over and over and over again. The guys get to the million, and all of a sudden the gas pedal just shuts right down. Like, I'll travel across the country. Like, yeah, I haven't been in my office in 4 or 5 months. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what do you guys do in revenue? Like, oh, like $1 million. I'm like, oh, awesome. Well, that's why you're not growing, because you're not here anymore. Like, it just revolves around you.
How much time you want to put into it too, because like I started out as a technician, you started out as mowing a yard. We're still learning, just like you said earlier. We're still learning. There's so much to learn. Like my mind is not as a CEO of a $200 million company. Like I can't even think that yet. So there's so much that I've already learned to get to where I'm at, and there's 10 times more that I still need to learn to get to that point. Even we talked about exiting or growing this company to 40 million. Like there's so much more I've got to learn to get to that point.
Yeah, and there's people out there that have been through where we're trying to get to, and it's not that we can't do it. We just lack the knowledge to do it. So go find the people with the knowledge, help them bring in to help us do it faster. And that's what probably something you and I had to learn the hard way. We just pulled the trigger way too slow. So yeah, that's a good question though. I really like that one. Second question: how do I stay motivated when I'm not growing fast enough? I feel like maybe you could answer this better, and maybe I could too. But maybe not because of that, but because the second business that you're started, maybe not so much you, but your son too. Like maybe you could, like, you've talked to him, so he's had those struggles. So what do you think there?
Well, and I mean, we started something else. He started something. Neither one of them are growing as fast as I want.
Is it ever fast enough though?
No, I don't think so. I mean, even this company is not as fast as I want it to grow. I mean, it's growing by
And
millions
it's
a year.
fast. Yeah.
It's fast. It's growing by millions a year, but it's not fast enough. Um, we could grow it faster, in my opinion. So those are really, I mean, they're just starting out and they're just branding and they're just doing this. So those are bugging the heck out of me, almost to points where I don't pay attention to them and I'm letting someone else pay attention to those. So it's just that one those slow me down. My ADD kicks in and I just can't deal with them.
But Dax just came to you frustrated, right? Like, he's not growing fast enough. Like, what do you think he's feeling? And how do you keep him motivated?
I think he's happy, but there's still a lot he's got to learn too, and he's figured out he can put
This
in
is
a
what you and I talked about the other day, right? We forget what it was like starting over again, right? Like, we had to do everything.
yeah, and I'm having to teach him everything from the very beginning. So it's kind of it's kind of hard, but it's very eye opening for me. Like because I'm having to do it again for another company, so it's very relatable. But man, he is trying his little heart out, and he's doing a good job, and he's going to get there one day. But I think he's only at like 100 properties or 120 properties or something full time right now, which is great for his first year of starting. But yeah, he's gonna get there a little bit quicker. We just got to help him on the back end on the marketing stuff. But that's pretty much with zero marketing.
And my response to that would just be, it's really, really hard to compare yourself to other companies. Like, you get caught up in that trap on social media. Just compare yourself to yourself, which is easier said than done, but just like compete with yourself and what you did the day before and just try to get better every single day. Again, when you're small, you have more time than you do money. So it's like the law of 100, like Alex Hormozy talks about. Like, go out there and do 100 things a day, whether that's 100 postcards, 100 door hangers, 100 doors knocked, 100 text messages, 100 emails. You do that for long enough, you're going to get good at them and you're going to grow your company. So just, I would say start there. There's always something to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one of our companies kind of running a little stagnant. He's kind of running a little stagnant because he's just not putting forth the 40 hours a week that he needs to, or 60 hours a week towards it. So, yeah, for me, it's like I want to just soar to the moon as quick as I can. So that gets frustrating. But no, I mean both of those companies are doing decent. It's just not as fast as I want a company to grow. So I'm focusing more on elite.
For sure. So, and I'll have a second part of the response. So, because they're still small, not grow, maybe they're not even small, but they're not growing fast enough. They probably have like a marketing issue. But I'm gonna use you as an example because you're a big company, 25, 30 trucks wherever you're at now, but you're in a big city of 1 million people. How many people still don't know who Elite Lawn Care is?
Oh, a lot, tons. Yeah, we're probably 1.6 million people in this area. So we got a lot of growth to do, and there's I'd say 80% of people don't even know who we are.
Right. So, like going back to what Jonathan used to tell us, it's not the best product that wins; it's the best known product that wins. So just get your name out there. So, I said the same thing to him last week when I was talking with him, and like the light bulb went off on him. He's like, "Oh my god, that's." I mean, he told me this, and then like I told him back to him. He's like, "Oh my god, like a light bulb just went off in his head." He's like, "That's so true because we're running a couple of hundred trucks within a 20-mile service area," and he had someone come up to them, like a friend of a friend that lived on that same street where they service all the time. They have trucks running there all the time. Been there for this guy lived there for like 10, 15 years, never heard of City Turf. It's wild. So it's like perspective, right? Again, go back to the original question, just crazy. So just think about those things as you guys are smaller or not growing fast enough. Like, depending on what market you're in, traditional market versus non-traditional market, like a $1.7 million or some 1.7 million population, there's gonna be some really good companies there and a lot of good competition. There just is. So again, try not to compare yourself to anyone else other than yourself, even though it's easier said than done. Anything else you want to chat on that, or want to move to the next one?
Move to the next one.
Cool. Oh, you'll love this one because we talked too much, and I just know you know the answer. How do I balance work, family, and growing the company?
I don't know. I have the hardest time with this. I spend the majority of my time in this business. My wife hates it. She wants me to spend the majority of my time with her at home or with the family, and so
Let's pause right there. How hard is that?
to spend the majority of my time there.
No, having Kelly like want you home, but you're trying to be there, trying to do stuff like that's tough on anyone, and a lot of people can relate to this.
Yeah, it's stressful both ways. I try my hardest to be there at home or with her or whatever, but I also try my hardest to make every huddle every single morning. I try my hardest to be the last one to leave here every single day, and sometimes that's 6 and 7 p.m. And I don't give her enough attention. But then, when I do give her attention or my family attention, and we're on a vacation or, at the lake house or doing whatever, I'm constantly on my phone looking at stuff for work, or I'm on the computer looking at stuff, or I'm calling someone, or on the phone, whatever it is. So it's very hard. She wants me to just like cut everything out, and I can't. But I'm also like I have ADD, so I get bored. It's hard for me to sit down and just watch a movie. Like if I'm watching a movie, I'm watching a movie and looking up stuff on my phone too, or on my computer, or whatever. So that's kind of tough for me.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like the failure rate of business is high as it is, right? So every person that trying to pull you away from the business is like making the chance of failure rate higher. So I always think about that. And my personal life, what I had to do recently because it's kind of the same situation. Like I'm doing this thing and I'm all in. And everyone knows that. And I had this thing over here that was saying, don't go do that. Don't go do that. I couldn't do both. And I had to separate from one. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of where I'm at too. And I don't think there's ever going to be a balance ever. Maybe if I retire one day, but even then I'll probably still do something. But the whole work-life balancing, I just don't buy into it. If you're in business, it's like, and again, this is just my perspective. Not you don't have to agree with it, but it's very, very hard. And I love my kids to death. Like they're my number one priority always. But I still have a thing to do. And I always say if I'm gone, I'm out of town, I'm working, as long as I'm winning, they'll forgive me. But I still don't miss anything either, which is I'm kind of glad that I started out it growing the business younger. So as my kids gotten older, it's been able to free up. So like if I had to run to a wrestling tournament or a dance class, like I don't have to miss it either. And I think that's where people think I don't want to go in the weeds here because we can, but I think people think that as the business gets bigger, it gets harder. It's like, oh, we have to manage all these people, but those people help you manage other things, which ends up freeing up your time where you can go spend more time with the family.
And I mean, that kind of goes both ways too. Like, depends on if you hire the right people.
Right, true.
If the right people are hired and the right people are trained, then it can free up some time. The problem with me is like, I have free time throughout the day, spots, but that's not what my wife or my kids want me is that between 2 and 3 p.m. So that's the hard part. It's like they see me at work for 12 hours, even though I've got a couple of hours during the day that I got a little bit of free time and I can do something that they want me there more. So I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to be a 50-50 balance. And if you have a business or a smaller business or whatever, and you can make it a 50-50 balance and it works for you and it works for your family and you make good money and do whatever you're doing, then yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to hear about it because I haven't figured that out. But
And it doesn't help either that we love what we do, so it doesn't feel like work.
yeah, it doesn't feel like work at all for me
So
either.
it doesn't shut off ever. You can't get it to shut off. Like I could say I could give you good advice and be like, be present no matter where you're at. If you're at home, be present, shut your phone off. If you're at work, be present, like shut your phone off. But I'd just be lying because that's not who I am either. It just doesn't work for me. Like, I can't shut it off. Like, why do I wake up at 4 in the morning? The first thing that pops in my head is something about work that I want to figure out. Like, I can't shut that off. I can't make it go away.
Do you ever dream about work?
Oh my God. Is it a dream or a nightmare? I don't really know. Half the time I feel like it's a nightmare.
I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like halfway in a thought, like it's like a dream, and I'm halfway through a thought, and I'm like, I wake up and I have to like go over to my phone and put it in my notes because I'm like, I'm finishing this problem that we're having at work, like in my dream. I'm finishing it. I'm like, yes, that's the answer. And I'm writing it in my phone as I'm waking up. So weird.
I felt like yesterday kind of was a nightmare for a little bit, even though it's not the end of the world. Again, everyone ended up okay. But when you get a picture, like no context, just a picture, what it looks like a Toyota Tacoma tin can looking thing, like, oh my gosh, my heart about dropped, you know what I mean? And it gets out the end of the world, everyone ended up being okay, just a couple scratches, but we have so many trucks on the road too, it's not if, it's when. It's happened so many times in my career and your career, like we talked about yesterday. We don't get upset anymore as long as everyone's okay, and that's the number one thing. Like, vehicles can be replaced. We had 3 or 4 last year, you had 3 or 4 last year, so it's just the cost of doing business, unfortunately. But it's still like you like but like that flash in your head, right? Like the first thing you think about is, "Oh my god, I hope this person's okay."
Yeah, for me, it's like usually my team will walk in and be like, just FYI, everything's okay, but, and I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm dealing with one right now. It's a minor thing, but it's like, well, it happens.
Are you allowed to elaborate on that at all?
Oh, we was simple. We hit some guy's truck and we owe him a bumper and a fender and a hood and a light and I don't know. It's nothing big, few grand worth of stuff, and it's just
But it's just
okay. Let's
always something, right?
always, yeah.
But I think I talked to JP about that last week too. Like, you go through so much stuff in business, and you have all these things thrown at you all the time. There's never a dull moment. But I also think that when you go home and like things happen at home, like could be a big deal, like you remain super calm there too, because you've been through so much. Like I think like it's like hard to explain, but like you just feel very calm in the moment under lots of pressure. So I think it helps out at home too, as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, it's like my wife got on the phone with me. This is probably 2 months ago, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, our daughter fell and she needs stitches and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, can you handle it, or do you need me to like meet you at the doctor? Like, where are we at on this?" Like, it didn't like raise my temperature, didn't like raise, I was fine. I was like, "Okay, cool, like, let's do it." You know,
Yeah, I feel like you just very like you just guess you're more stoic in a way. Like you dealt with so much shit at work, like on a day to day basis. Like it evolves too. I guess is what I'm saying. Um, Next question, kind of like a question that we chatted about earlier, but it's a little bit different. I guess it's different as I read it. Is it better to grow organically or buy out another company?
I mean, this could go both ways. I've never really been huge on the acquisitions. I've had someone give me some yards before. I feel like we've bought some yards before. I mean, I'm talking 10 plus years ago. We've just focused on the organic train and focused on us. Um, I'm not saying I'm opposed to an acquisition, but I definitely do my due diligence and figure it all out and see if it's a good model to fit. But I think for me personally, it would be taking my eyes off of this to focus on that. And there'll be a lot of things I'd have to repair over there. Like, you're already figuring you're losing customers, you're fixing the CRM, you're updating the sales way. Is it does the treatment package match with your treatment? I mean, there's so much. So like, I would lose all of this momentum to like stop and deal with that for 6 8 months and then come back to this momentum. It would stop me from here. So I don't focus on that. Now if the right thing fell in my lap, it is what it is, but it's not something I'm chasing.
Yeah. And I would say it's different for everyone. And I know I did two small ones, not a big deal. But what I've learned is that one was good, one was bad. And I like as a CEO, I think I got too emotionally invested in the deal. And maybe I didn't pay too much because I don't think that still holds true, although I paid more than I probably should have. And I also think that, again, this is just from my experience. Like I thought we'd have done a better job of upselling them into like the next service, and I found it a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And the company had been in business for like 25 years, and all the clientele is really old. So trying to convert those clients into the way we do things wasn't impossible, but it's been a struggle, and we've been at it for the second summer now. So even though it's definitely improved, but again, like you got to think of culture fit too. Like, is it going to be a good culture fit with the technicians? Probably not. Like you're going to come in. Let's just say they were making hourly. They come into you, and now you're doing your P for P or whatever. Like trying to get them the concept of that, and then just all the change that it is. You're probably gonna have some attrition with your employees. You're gonna have some attrition with your customer base. So there's just a lot to unpack there. And you said something smart right away. It was like you definitely do your due diligence, what you have to do. But there also has been a really good deal too. So it's not all bad. Um, Again, if the right deal comes along, I would always say look at it. But to answer the question, if you're just starting out in business, I think people think like buying a route is like buying a company, and a route's really not worth that much. Again, my opinion only. Um, I think get caught up in this dollars that they see on online in these groups, like, oh, pay $1 per revenue, and they're doing like 80,000. I think it's worth that. It's just not at the end of the day. So again, just something to think about.
I got a buddy that just paid 50% revenue for 2 routes. And I'm like, whoa. And I was like, I mean, if that's what you pay, if that's works for you, it works for you. Speaking of which, how often does your phone ring from private equity companies?
Daily. It's annoying.
So annoying. I get letters, they call the office, they call my phone. Like, I'm just like,
Now they're coming to my Facebook and my YouTube. I'm like, no, it's and, there's nothing wrong with them. Like I'll probably like I'm gonna knock on wood, and maybe you can go back and watch this someday. But I'll probably never sell a private equity ever. I just won't. I just don't think that. Like when I'm done, I'm just gonna be done. I'm not gonna roll nothing. Again, I've seen it. I think the stat that I heard, and this don't quote me on this exact number, but it was like 4% of all private equity deals actually work out. It was like 4 or 8%, something super low. Yeah. So I just had a friend, I won't mention any names. He sold a private equity. He was super excited. I told him not to do it. A year later, he doesn't work there anymore. Still has equity in the company, doesn't get a paycheck. Has to go find something new to do. And just, again, I'm not mentioning names. It just happens. So again, I haven't heard a lot of great things about PE. Not saying that they're all bad. I'm not saying that. But for what I'm doing, I just don't think that's what I want to do.
Yeah, everyone always asks what's my exit strategy, and I just don't have one yet.
But we had the same
Generational wealth.
conversation years ago, right? Exactly. Um, with JP, he's like, well, once you're up to $5-10 million and you're making a good living, like, yeah, you could go sell it and do whatever, but like you're gonna get a better return every single year on your business. Like, where else are you gonna get in the marketplace 20-25%, 30%? You're not going to.
And that runs out.
It does, so just like, why not hold that thing? Maybe not forever, but why not hold it a long time? Make 20-30% every single year, 40, whatever you're making, instead of putting it in the marketplace, getting 6 to 8%, maybe 10 at best, unless you roll into Bitcoin, which we should have done, but we were. I mean, he literally sat and had an academy session and said, you guys need to go all in on this Bitcoin. Not that all in was a lot then, probably like $5,000 that we could afford. We're like, who is this freaking nut job? And then he's like, I'm going all in and putting millions in it. Like, yeah, you go ahead and you do that. Like early. We'd all be retired right now.
Like $1 a coin, and now it's like 10 million a coin or something.
It's like 100,000 a coin, I think, right? We could have got it for it was like under $1,000. Yeah. So, but the source wasn't very credible. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't enjoy the source either.
All right, moving on. Moving on. We still have like 5 more questions to go through. Oh, this is a simple one, but I saw this question and I responded to this one too. How do you calculate profit?
Revenue minus gross minus overhead.
Yeah, and I would just say all your revenue minus all your expenses is your profit. Yeah, and so again, it's simple. Like I forget. Even going back to like when we were starting out, I didn't have a clue either. So there's still a lot of people like out there that were like you and I, like we didn't know. You're early on in the business, like I didn't know what profit was either, and I had to learn. But as you see, how it's all expenses, all your revenue minus all your expenses is profit. So simple. That's an easy one.
I think it was about 60 grand in business when I first got a bookkeeper / accountant. And then I got monthly P&Ls, and I was like, I didn't know how to read it. I was like, what is this? What does this mean? I had to sit down with her for hours.
Why is all this stuff up here, and then why is all this stuff down here? Like I don't get it.
Yeah, and what is it? What does it mean? And what should it be at and everything? But then later on, like I understood percentages of stuff. Like, I understand shop rent or mortgage to be a percentage now. So if it's over this percentage, it's too big. If it's under this percentage, it's too small. Like I understand that, like indirect labor, materials, damages, everything. I understand like percentages behind it all. So yeah, it's definitely what I would tell someone if they don't know how to calculate profit, they should learn that. They should also get with a bookkeeper who will give them monthly P&Ls and who will teach them percentages, because that's all it is a percentage.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of fractional people online that do this. There's your local CPAs that'll help you with this. Yeah, just definitely get someone to start understanding it. And back then, the YouTube really wasn't a big thing when we were coming up. So YouTube University, there's so much information out there. Like we're in the information age. That's probably, again, I'm gonna go in the weeds here. Probably half the battle, because there's so much information people who consumed about information and then just don't go implement. So that's going off on a tangent. Okay, next one. How do I get more 5-star reviews? Should I discount to win jobs or hold my price? Good one. I'll get your perspective and then my perspective.
5-star reviews, we just ask for them. We literally just ask the customer, like not via text, not via email. We literally ask via voice, whether it's on the phone or in person. Can you do this? And they'll say yes, and we'll send them a link. So that's pretty simple. I think we also have some on our door hangers. I think I think we just pulled it off of our door hangers, but our old door hangers said, "Please leave us a review," and they had circled it, and we got them there too. So that was a pretty easy one for us.
Yeah, I like that. There's actually two parts to that question. So I'll do the same thing. Yeah, we're always asking for reviews too on the doors with our technicians. We have software that helps us track it, but yeah, at the doors, talk to the customer after the service. Ask them if you were able to take care of everything that they needed today. And they say, yeah, awesome. Well, my boss will give me a tip if I get a 5-star review. So I did a good job. Whether it was good or bad, will you please leave me a review or whatever it is, right? And then just slide them your phone or just have them scan it, whatever you guys do. It's that simple. Especially starting out, and things are changing, but Google's so important still today. So having, like look in your local marketplace, see how many reviews your competitors got, and try to be in that ballpark, right? So if your next competitor has 300, try to get to 300. Maybe that's the bar. If someone has 50, that are showing up on page one, try to get to 75. So definitely start there. Second part to that question: should I discount to win jobs or hold my price? I love this question.
I've got a lot of answers for that. What's your profit? What's your P&L? And is this your main service, or is this a second line item on your invoice? Um, and you can bundle it up, and then what's the profit for that particular service? So there's a lot of ways to calculate it. I mean, we won't discount our main service, like it is what it is, but we'll discount our secondary service when we're there at the house because we understand our secondary service is we understand our cogs behind it.
Because you're already on the site, right?
Already on the
Your
site,
technician's already there. The fuel's already paid for. Yep, already there.
and on our second service, usually the material is a little bit cheaper, and so we have a little bit more wiggle room. So we'll discount a second service, but we won't discount a main service. But it's only because we understand a P&L. We understand what our profit is.
Yeah, and then I'll ask you a question back. What happens when you discount the service on the first service? I mean, what's that customer gonna expect for the lifetime value that they're there? They're gonna constantly gonna call you and want a discount because you discounted the first one. They're always just gonna see you as if you call and ask. Yeah.
But like if your profit's 20% and you give them 20% off your service, like you have zero profit. So like you have to get profit somewhere.
Do you think the majority of people, do you think they buy off price anyway?
I think the majority of people in this world want some sort of discount. It's funny because we used to get people that would ask like a discount nonstop. And they were just all like a teacher, a military, or whatever. So we actually raised our prices 10%. I think you already know that. We raised our prices 10%, and then we give them that number first, and then say if you went ahead and did it today, we'll give you a 10% discount. And then they don't ask you for a discount because you've already given them a discount, and then it's back to the normal price. So you didn't actually take 10% off your profit. You just you just sold them the regular price, but you told them what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. And I would just say, in my theory, is that most people do not buy off price. Some, but I don't think the majority buy off price. I think the majority buy off value. And that's what we sell all day long.
I'll say the majority buy off value, but I will also say the majority will ask if there is a discount. Is there a discount? Is there something I'm not aware of? Do y'all do a teacher discount, a military, something? And so we just go ahead and add it in. Yeah, here's your discount. Like here's the normal price. I'm going to give you a 10% discount today. Here's that price. Then they won't ask you for a discount again. You already discounted it.
I agree. This is another really good question that takes me way back, right? Like before service autopilot days or right at the start of service autopilot days. What's the best way to present pricing over the phone or in person?
So I guess that depends. If you're a door-to-door person, I'd say in person. If you're a call center, I'd say over the phone. Um, we tried it out on our website once, and that dropped our conversion rate down into the 30s when we were in the 50s.
But would you like to, let's just go to most companies that are listening to this probably aren't going to be door to door. So would you rather send a technician out there to quote a price? And again, think of like who we're dealing with too. So it could be okay, good. Um, or would you like to price over the phone for our services?
100% over the phone. Like the only time I would send it, I mean, I'm not wasting time and energy and money and fuel and everything else just to run out to someone's house to try to talk to them. We're just for the services we're doing, it's too cheap. You know, we're talking $600 to $800 a year. You know, yearly value of a customer. You know, if I was doing a landscape job of $3,000 plus, absolutely I'd do it. In person, but not with what we're doing. It's just measure the yard out, or you measure the house out, or whatever the thing is, and then you have your rate matrix, and you talk to them over the phone. You give them a price, and you sign them up, and go on. Um, no need to like drive out there. But I mean, man, I'd have to buy 100 more trucks if we were to do that, just to run out to give people prices.
For sure. The only thing that I would add to that is if it's like kind of like you said, if you're doing landscape, and I'd say if for pest control, if it's a specialty service, bed bugs, cockroaches, rodents, anything like that, just sell the inspection. Don't go there for free. Show up, do the inspection. If they take the estimate, the 99 or whatever you charge, $200 or $99 or 50, whatever you charge for sending a guy out there, that comes off the invoice at the end. So that way you just set a bunch of people out for free.
Yeah, we do the same thing if our agronomist has to go out there. If they just require an agronomist to come look at their yard and evaluate and everything else, and yeah, we charge. I don't remember if it's $75 or $150 or what we do, but then we remove it from their stuff.
Yeah, I love it. How long have you? I know this, but how long have you had an agronomist on your team, and has that been super impactful?
Very impactful, and I think we're going on our third agronomist right now, and probably 6 or 7 years.
What's been the biggest benefit?
They understand how to talk to a customer, and they can point anything out in the yard, and they can teach and train. And it's between teaching and training all of our technician stuff, between talking to a customer on the phone or in person, or digging in their yard and showing them the whys. Like, man, it's just super impactful. Like that's just their sole job, and they get paid a lot to do that. But that's their sole job. We have a customer that says, "My yard doesn't look good." Cool, we're going to send this guy out. He's going to spend 30 minutes explaining everything about it, and then we're going to get you on the proper program. It makes sense.
I love that. That was my side question for you. We have 2 questions left. Again, I love this question too. How do I pay my technicians, hourly or commission? How long did you and I talk about this for? How many years?
Man, years. I finally converted last year. It took me a lot of time trying
Winning.
to put. Yeah, it took me a lot of pencil and paper, and a lot of math trying to figure that one out. And we found a winning product and a winning way to do it last year. And it was funny because our technicians would would do half of the properties and make that. So like prior to this, they were making sub $1,000 a week and doing half the properties that they're doing now. Now they're making more than $1,000 a week every week, and they're doing double the amount of properties. And we figured out it was just pure laziness of the other people. I mean, but there's nothing to motivate them. I say laziness; there was zero motivation. Why would I do more? Why would I do more better? Why would I take care of all this? Why? I mean, I'm just going to stop and hit up the QT or the gas station or whatever and hang out. And but it was kind of funny. As soon as we changed to that, the guys who did hit up the gas stations, they ended up slowly exiting the company. So
Every time. That's what I tell everyone. As soon as you make that conversion, just know they're going to leave. The bottom end employees are going to leave. They're going to weed themselves out.
yeah, and our top end employees are making $70,000 and $80,000 a year just being a spray tech, and they're loving the hell out of it. So, and in our market, that's amazing money. When they were making like 1,000 a year, so it's funny because the year we did that, I think we were running like 22 trucks or something.
That was what I was just going to say. You're like, I need to add 6 more trucks. So I was just going with it.
Thought we were going to have to add more trucks, and it ended up being we ended up saving 6 trucks just sitting back or something, 5 trucks that we didn't even use because they were producing so much.
And how much was one? And how much is one of your trucks cost you?
Well, the NPRs are over 100,000 now. The Fords are 56,000 or something. Once it's no, they're like 52, 54,000, and then add all the tanks and
So between
everything. So
250 and $500,000 in money it saved you just by changing your pay structure.
yeah, for sure.
So the answer to the question is P for P, commission based or hourly?
Yeah, I mean, I'll never do a paper, or I'll never do an hourly again, especially on a spray tech. And we're trying to figure out how to convert the entire company, no matter what position you're in, into some sort of a commission style pay.
It only took me 2 years to convert you over to pay for performance, but I got you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you told me about it, but I had to figure out the calculation. So that's my brain's a little slower than yours, apparently.
Last question of these questions, and then I have some more questions for you. And then I'll wrap it up 'cause it's already hour in. Last question is, how do I get out of the truck and work on the business and not in it? I actually just made a whole YouTube video around the same topic. Imagine that.
First of all, you got to grow it. You got to get to a certain level of capacity. You got to be at 110, 120% capacity, and then you got to hire the right person. So sometimes the first person to hire may not be a second spray tech. Sometimes it may be an office admin to take away.
CSR every time.
So, like, I've got buddies
Gosh,
that
you're
have
smart.
I've got buddies that have like 5 technicians and they're still running 2, but then they're the full-time CSR. And I'm like, man, if you just hired a CSR, like, you'd have a whole lot less work. Teach them how to route, teach them how to answer the phone, teach them everything. And that would take you from 130% capacity down to like 30% capacity and free up your time to do other stuff. But they just don't get it. But I also don't think that they understand how to do all the office or how to teach the office, or they don't know how to give that away or trust someone else to do it. So there's a lot. But for me, the first person I would hire is an office person, and then the second person I would hire is another technician to start training. And then after I had 5, 6, 8 technicians, then I'd look at hiring an operations manager, someone to kind of oversee the operations, and I'd slowly work my way into the office. So I don't think I moved myself fully into the office until we were about $1 million.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you at all. I do the same exact strategy, like to a T. I was nothing that I even change up there. Like hire your CSR instead of working, you know, 30 hours in the field and 30 hours in admin. Work 30, work the 60 hours in the field. You'll pay for that admin right there, right then and there. You can start building up the second route where you can, okay, now I got a second route. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Now I'm gonna go build a third route, now the fourth route. Cool. Now I'm gonna hire a manager to run these 6 routes. Like that's the name of the game.
For me, that would be the name of the game. Like, me and you kind of think very similar, and that's exactly what I do too. But I also like
It's like
didn't
we were
come
trained
from
by
a
the same person or something.
but I also didn't come from like a pure sales background or a pure CSR background or something like that. I started out mowing a lawn. So I'm going to be more operations side than office side. So if I would have came from, I don't know, like all I did was sales my entire life, I'm probably going to hire a technician and train a technician, and I'm probably going to work the office instead. So I guess it depends on your background. But my background is more operation side than office side.
Yeah, I don't disagree whatsoever. Cool. Well, that's actually all of our questions. So that was pretty cool. I actually enjoyed that a lot. Now I got some personal questions for you. Then we'll wrap up. You look really good. Besides the haircut, you look healthy, which is great. Chat about that real quick.
Chat about my haircut?
Yeah, you look really sexy.
Is that what you just said? Chat about my haircut?
No, I said you look good. Besides, even with your haircut, but like you look healthy and too. Like you lost a lot of weight. Walk us through the health journey.
Man, so a couple of years ago, I mean, and I've always been a fast food junkie like my whole life. I'm a technician. Or I started out being a technician. So then by the time I made it to the office and all the way until now, like
You were the one stopping at QTs.
yeah, I was that guy. And then, like even in the office, like I'm just running out and I'm grabbing, a quick burger, a quick taco or something and running back to the office and keep working. And I started, like, I've had arthritis since I was 21 years old, and it started getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And Man, it was probably a year and a half ago. My doctor just kept putting me on so much medicine, more and more and more medicine, because I kept hurting more. And it got to where my legs and my feet were just so inflamed and hurt so bad that I was having trouble walking. And ended up having a conversation with my doctor, and he said, "Man, there's not very much more medicine I can keep giving you. If we keep going down this path, we're going to end up having to amputate your legs." And that really hit hard. And I said, you know what, there's a better way to do this. So my wife was started going to a functional doctor, and so I went and visited with him too. Ran a lot of blood work, and asked me, all my food. We went through a whole list of everything: what food I was eating, what exercises I was doing, like what my lifestyle was, everything. And went through everything. And he looked at it and he said, "I'm pre-diabetic." I was like, "Awesome." He said, "So if you keep this journey up, you're going to be taking insulin shots real soon." I said, "Well, that's not what I want to do." And my arthritis doctor said they're going to cut off my legs too. So we got to figure this out. Well, he's got a nutritionist that works for him. So I went and talked to her. She saw everything I was eating, and she was like, "Well, this is the problem. Everything you're eating is inflammatory. So it's making you 10 times worse. So let's change your diet." And I said, "Okay, that sounds fun. I've never been able to diet in my life, but let's try it out. I'm willing to do anything." So for like a month straight, I ate exactly what she said. And it was a lot of greens and a lot of, chickens and all kinds of stuff. No more burgers, no more tacos, no more, gluten type products, anything. And pretty much all my inflammation went away. My legs quit hurting, my feet quit hurting, everything. So I became a true believer of it. And let's see, that was probably a year and a half ago. So about 10 months ago, I was back at the doctor's office. I started losing a lot of weight. I went from 255 down to 197. And the doctor said, "All right." He put me on a DEXA scan, and he said, "Well, your lean muscles, you don't have any. So we got to figure this out." He knew a guy that owned a gym that was also a personal trainer, and hooked me up with him. And so I started going 2 days a week to him. Now I'm on 3 days a week, and I do some stuff on the side. But I've added in 6 months. I've added probably about 16 to 18 pounds of lean muscle. Eating more correct. I would say more correct, because I'm kind of doing the 80-20 rule. Like every now and then you just want a taco. So so I'm kind of eating as good as I can, but I also know like what my limits are right now. So I try my hardest to eat as healthy as I can. I try my hardest to work out as much as I can. But yeah, I just changed my entire lifestyle and what I'm doing. I went from size 40 in pants to 34 in pants. So I dropped, I guess not six sizes, but six, whatever that is, because 40, 38, 36, 34, whatever that means. But I'm now to 34 pants. Dropped my t-shirt size to almost a large from a double XL.
What else did you change? It's been about a year and 2 months, 3 months?
Oh, so I quit drinking. Forgot about that. I used to dip Copenhagen, and I quit that. I go through about a can a day. I haven't done that in probably 8 months. I quit drinking probably a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. I haven't had a sip of alcohol. Quit eating fast food. I say I quit eating fast food. In the past year and a half, I've had Chick-fil-A 3 times with my kids or something, but I don't eat fast food or anything. So
What made you stop drinking? Even though it's the cool thing to do.
yeah, I'm gonna blame it on you. But no, just all the above. I mean, you're a huge influence on me on that. But then even the doctor, the inflammation, everything. He was like, "You know what? The dipping and the drinking's not helping your inflammation at all. If you'd quit both those things, it would help out." And so he was right.
How much has stopped drinking? And let's go with both, I guess. Drinking in Copenhagen or whatever you call it. Like, walk me through like not drinking to not chewing. Like, how much has your life changed?
Well, it's a lot cheaper. Um, doesn't cost as much. More level-headed. I feel like. Not as hot-headed. I think about things a lot more before I react. And I also, I
Are you
don't
more
know.
focused?
Yeah, like, I'm a whole lot more focused. Used to I didn't care. Now I care about a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'm trying to do better for work, do better for family, do better for everything. And so it's really helped me out a lot.
But and also you're off almost all your meds too, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I have all kinds of arthritis medicine that I've taken all my whole life, and yeah, I've been able to wean the majority of them. I still take one out of four or something. But yeah, I've been able to wean all the medicines just by eating healthier, by working out, by not drinking, all that. And it's not even just eating healthier; it's eating cleaner. It's I mean, just even the oils that are used, it's crazy. Just the oils that are used of how bad that is to your body, and you just got to use correct oils for everything. So I learned a lot. I still don't know very much of it. My wife kind of takes care of me on all that stuff, or my doctor, or a nutritionist, or whatever. My nutritionist said you can eat at these three places, and so that's the only places I go to eat now. So it's kind of funny. They know me by name.
It's really cool to see because like this is one of the reasons that you do want to grow the business. So you have more income because the more income they have, like there's so many tests out there that you can go take that you maybe couldn't afford it when you were just starting out. That you're in a good spot now financially where you can go buy these and take these tests to make sure that you are healthy. And again, going back to a Jonathan quote from a long time ago, and maybe he didn't even come with the quote, but he's when he told me, he's like, if you had $1 million horse, what would you feed it?
Yeah, would you feed
Like
it
that,
dog shit?
yeah, what would you feed it? And then like so he literally asked that question. Okay, if you had $1 million horse, what would you feed it? And remember this, I don't know if you remember this or not. And like, well, I'd feed it the best food, I would take it the best track, right? I'd do all these things like cool. Well, you're the $1 million horse. It's like light bulb. Like, dang, he just did that to me. Like that was awesome. And it put a whole new perspective in my life too. It's like, why would I do that to myself? Like, why would I put that poison in me? Like, I'm the $1 million horse. I gotta go like eat the best foods, like take care of myself, have the best bet. Like, you know what I mean? So just something to think about for all the listeners. Like I had to learn the hard way too. But I see evolution in business. And I've seen it with almost all of our friends. Like they go through this like build up the business, and they forget about the health. And all of a sudden, last 3 to 5 years, all of them have switched. They're all getting super fit, super healthy, stop drinking. And now like their wealth and their business has 10x because of it too, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because you care and your mindset changes and the way you look at stuff changes. Everything. I mean, um, winners follow winners. Whether it's entrepreneurs following each other or it's employees following the owner. Like we have the way we hire here is a little bit differently too. The way we present ourselves as a culture is a little bit different as well. Before when I was drinking or whatever, it was just like, he's late. Who cares? He's hungover. Whatever. Like it was a little bit different. Now it's like, you didn't show up at 7. Just head on home. Let's do better tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, you know me, I'm open with everything. I tell my whole like I'm not a shy person. Like I have this thing where I'm never gonna lie ever in my life, and I'm just gonna tell everyone the truth about me. Like, and so this might resonate with people, and maybe it won't. But I remember like first 2 or 3 years in business, it would rain and we go to the bar. We just at the bar, we get food, get drunk or whatever, and like with my employees, like it was terrible. It's so dumb, you know. And then now, like to look back now, like obviously I was super embarrassed of what I was doing, but I had to grow up. And so just thinking about those days, like now, like where we're at today, like what you said, like a lot of my friends have stopped drinking. Maybe I'm an influence, maybe I'm not, but a lot of people that are around me in my personal life, in business, they all quit drinking. It's just super cool to see, which I didn't know that was going to happen. I really didn't. But you lead from the front in everything that you do, you know. And you have to be the example, you know. Cool. Well, we are over an hour and 15 minutes into this thing, so we could probably talk for the next 6 hours, but we have families to go see and lives and employees to go deal with. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it was really cool catching up. on the podcast, and I hope that was, I know this to be super valuable to a lot of listeners. It's just a different style too, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on here again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're a stud. I appreciate you too.
All right. See you, buddy.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Pest Control Millionaire. We don't charge any money for the show, but the podcast isn't free. Please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app. This makes a huge difference for us. If you have any specific questions about your business or your personal life that you'd like answered by me or any of my podcast guests, please send an email to info@pestcontrolmillionaire.com. And if you want to get in touch with me about our marketing class, we do a live version every Thursday night. Check out our website at pestcontrolmillionaires.com. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.